some time tonight to look at some different vegetables and herbs and the sounds they make. I am wearing my guinea pig shirt tonight. I went shopping, grocery shopping for my guinea pig, and while I was picking up some yummy veggies for him, Mr. Pickles, I thought these might make some fun sounds for us to explore. So without further ado, we will get started. A few of these have actually been in the fridge for a little bit, so they will be a little more used versus some are very new. So we'll start with a newer one. In this bag, we have a bell pepper. This is one of Mr. Pickles' favorites. He absolutely loves bell peppers, but he doesn't get to make this his entire diet. However, if I don't give him a little bell pepper, just a little slice each day, I tend to hear about it from him. He will check his food bowls for bell peppers when I give him all his veggies. He might be a little spoiled. And I don't remember what the rule is, but I know that when you look at bell peppers, if the bottom has 3 versus 4, that tells you if it's a male or a female bell pepper. And one is supposed to be sweeter than the other. I don't recall. It makes no difference to my guinea pig, so but in case you are interested in enjoying a bell pepper. And I will make sure before he's fed any of these, I wash them so I know that I'm touching them, but they will be cleaned before he eats them. So next up, something he's already been enjoying since last week, we have a box. A box of butterhead lettuce, or most may call butter lettuce. And I bought this for lettuce wraps at a party. But of course, Mr. Pickles gets to enjoy whatever's left over. So we'll open that. Let me move this. Okay. So, within the box, there is the entire piece, including the roots, and there is dirt on it, so you have to make sure you wash it. These are perfect for lettuce wraps if you are interested in a low carb option or you are a vegetarian. Now let's see if we can get some good squeezing sounds. And Mr. Pickles does very much enjoy butterhead lettuce. Interestingly, his first time eating it, he kind of went under it like it was a little hat and then started eating it. It was comical. So when I prepare this, I just simply snap off a piece down here at the root, or the base, because this is the root. So I snap a piece off at the base and wash it, and then hold it open and fill it with whatever filling, and then wrap it. And you can use a toothpick to hold it. Most people at my party, they filled them themselves and then ate them as they softened. And I filled them with a Beyond Meat scramble. Okay. My mouth is watering from that. That's hilarious. So next up, I actually don't know what's coming up. I'm just opening the bags. So, this, sorry, hang on one sec, guys. Got it. This is parsley. 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 Mr. Pickles does enjoy parsley. This is not Italian parsley, which is different. He doesn't get a lot of this each day, but he does get a little bit. And this is usually in our restaurants used to garnish. I'm gonna tear this piece off because it's about to fall. And I will set that to the side, and he might get a snack tonight. This is used to garnish a lot of dishes, and obviously you can chop it up and put it in dishes. I think most people use Italian parsley for that versus this, and he will eat it starting at the stem. That's actually how he likes to eat it. He likes to go stem first. And my little guinea pig loves parsley. Really, he's a guinea pig. He loves all food, except for one, which I do have here. And it's always fun to buy a variety of leafy greens and vegetables and herbs. Inevitably, every cashier asks me what I'm making, and I get to say nothing. I'm just feeding my guinea pig, because they're kind of like little garbage disposals. They'll eat everything. Awesome. So, next up is, it looks like mint. And it is. This is mint. So, mint actually doesn't smell. It does have a very distinct smell, but it's not the cool, refreshing scent you're accustomed to with like gums and peppermint, even though they do derive those flavors a lot of times from these plants, though some can be synthetic. This actually has, it is a very potent smell. It's just not fresh and clean like you would think a mint would smell. I don't know, it's difficult to describe. This sounds terrible. It smells almost like a dirty spearmint, or a gritty, like earthy spearmint, if that makes any sense at all. And Mr. Pickles will eat this whole. I've just been giving him a leaf or two at a time to try because he's still not sure if he likes this. And my thought is that if he doesn't like the mint, I will make something with it. It is absolutely delicious in tzatziki. If you are into any kind of Greek cooking or Mediterranean cooking, mint is delicious in that with some lamb if you eat lamb. And no offense if you don't. I'm going to set that back because it is a very strong smell. I'm trying not to cough, it's very strong. There's so many bags from the grocery store. I'm trying to figure out if I should just reuse them when I go back. It's a lot. Let's take a break and go to some fruit. So, we've been working on these for a while. I'm sure you know what these are. These are strawberries. These are actually getting toward the end of their life, but they're still good to eat. They smell wonderful. They are not in season in general within the US. I believe that's coming usually in May, I think. I'm probably wrong. So I had a party, as I mentioned, and I served strawberry shortcake, and Mr. Pickles actually does not like strawberries. He likes the strawberry tops. So most people don't eat the tops up here that are really white and have the leafy part. And so when you're serving it, a lot of times you cut it off or people don't eat it. Obviously, I don't serve him half-eaten ones, but after the party, he has been enjoying these strawberry tops, and I've been enjoying the strawberries. It works for both of us, but these are very delicious, and we're almost out, and he loves these. These, where are these from? Yes, these are Florida strawberries. Driscoll's. Interesting. I am a native Floridian, so strawberries are a big amount of produce the state gives. Every summer I look for Plant City strawberries when I'm at my grocery store because it reminds me of home. Okay, next up, thyme. Now, I don't grow my own herbs because I can't grow anything. I'm very bad at it. So when I cook, if I can't find like these clusters of herbs and leafy greens, such as thyme, usually you have to buy it in a box like this. It's a little bit more expensive, so I don't like doing it that way. This is his Mr. Pickles' absolute favorite, but he doesn't get to have very much of this and very often because it is high in calcium, which can be bad for him if he has too much. So this is thyme. It's very delicate. I'm going to pull a piece out. So it's very, very delicate. and very aromatic. It smells amazing. I don't know that there's a single like dish that I wouldn't put a little bit of thyme into. I mean, I'm sure there are, but I mean, like if I'm making a quiche, just a little sprig of thyme, and you just grab the end of it and you peel away all the little leaves on it. Mr. Pickles eats the whole thing, but most people don't in cooking. Next up, do you know what this is? Any idea? These are collard greens. If you live in southern United States, you have had collard greens or turnip greens. And anyone that can cook these really well is usually like the best cook in the family. They can be very bitter if they are not cooked correctly. And there are ways to season them and cook them well that don't require a ton of bad things being added. Some people tend to kind of overdo it with ingredients that add a lot of sodium. Probably don't want to create a heart condition off of collard greens, but these are very good for you if you are willing to eat them. I've never eaten them whole like this, although this is how Mr. Pickles eats them. I will say these are not his favorite. I'll show you his favorite of the leafy greens in just a minute. But they are still very good and healthy and nutritious, as long as, for a guinea pig like this, but as long as for humans we don't load them down with other things. They sound kind of like flipping some cards. They're not as loud as the car driving by. Okay, we'll set these back. If you've never had collard greens, I do recommend trying them. Just make sure you research how to cook them first, otherwise you probably won't enjoy them. So, his favorite leafy green we'll save until a little closer to the end. So we'll show another piece of fruit that he probably gets least often out of all the fruits, and that is raspberries. You guys, I am a sucker for raspberries. If they are on sale, I'm gonna go for them. This is like, I mean, at night after dinner, you want like a little snack, like a couple of berries, and that'll just take care of your sweet tooth. Even that with like a little piece of dark chocolate. We can bounce them, but they don't make a ton of noise. It's more so the box. Mr. Pickles does not get an entire raspberry to himself. Keep in mind he's a guinea pig. He's about this size. So usually what happens is I will be enjoying a raspberry and I will pull off a very small piece for him. Raspberry leaves are actually fine for them to eat in moderation, but these obviously don't come with leaves, and I don't know that I've seen at just a regular grocery store that I've ever seen raspberries with the leaves still on them. I bet he would like those though, and he does enjoy these. He is white and brown, so it's funny when he takes a little bite of the raspberry because it looks like he's a zombie guinea pig. Okay, we'll do another herb. rosemary, his second favorite herb. He actually doesn't like dill that much. That was very loud. He doesn't like dill that much, which I find funny since his name is Mr. Pickles. Rosemary is one of my favorite herbs to use with red meats. Oh, this smell is amazing. The last place I rented had a rosemary tree or bush in the backyard, and it was awesome because I could just walk out and get the rosemary fresh. They had planted it, so I didn't have to really do anything but make sure it was watered. It took care of itself for the most part. I'd love to see if I could get another one. The leaves, it's hard to see, but the leaves, I don't know if they have little hairs on them, but they feel kind of hairy. And this is, I mean, it's really good in any dish, but if you do enjoy red meat, I cannot think of a single red meat I wouldn't add some rosemary to. I do, obviously lamb works, but I enjoy adding rosemary to, let's close that. That was a little loud, sorry. I do enjoy adding rosemary to steak. So I do a pan steak, and so once the steak's close to done, I place this in the pan with a clove of garlic, just not peeled or anything, just that in there. And then you add a little bit of butter to baste the steak with. It's not the healthiest way, but it's delicious. And the rosemary infuses with the butter and the garlic and the high heat, and so you just baste the steak with that, and it just adds this like top flavor to the dish that's amazing. So, Mr. Pickles' least favorite. Carrots. I'm not going to pull these out because they are pre-cut and washed. I don't normally purchase them this way, but as I mentioned, I was throwing a party and I served carrot sticks with hummus and some other items. And Mr. Pickles, no matter what I do, does not like carrots. He will bite into the carrot and then spit it out. I've watched him do this. He also did that with basil. He didn't like basil. I keep trying them every couple of weeks. My favorite was just the other day I gave him a few more. I eat carrots, which is why I always have carrots in the house. But just the other day I went to clean his cage and I found where he had taken the carrots in his veggie bowl, and he had hidden them in the corner of his cage. Didn't even eat them, he just wanted them out of his sight. I have no idea how he managed to do it. Maybe he was just saving the best for last, right? And I do clean his cage every day. He gets veggies in the morning and then again in the evening. And I do spot cleans when I switch out his veggies because I don't like any of the vegetables sitting for too long. I don't know if the guinea pigs' digestive systems are better than ours, but it just seems unsanitary to me. And so, best for last, Mr. Pickles' favorite leafy green thing. Ta-da! So if you don't know what this is kale. 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 Mr. Pickles would love Beyonce's shirt, her kale shirt. He is a huge fan of kale, which is great because it's a wonderful leafy green to enjoy. I did try spinach a while ago and he didn't really like it, but for some reason kale is a big hit. I also tried Brussels sprouts and he did not like those either. So we've kind of been sticking to kale and butterhead lettuce. He's only 5 months old, so I'm quite happy with how many vegetables I get him to eat instead of a lot of sweet stuff. Because when I first got him, he only wanted to eat sweet things. And I read that you have to slowly wean them off of sweet things and introduce these types of healthy foods into their diet. So we've been working on that. I actually do like kale with a nice vinaigrette. Some people don't enjoy it, but I like it. I am no longer a vegetarian, but I was one for about 7 years, a while ago, back when I was when I was a preteen and then through my teenage years. It almost sounds like wearing rubber gloves, doesn't it? And Mr. Pickles loves kale stem to top. He loves it. So, if you don't eat kale, you should try it. I will say having a guinea pig will force you to, or will encourage you to eat more fresh vegetables and leafy greens. So, with that, that's my tour of veggies, herbs, and a few fruits along the way. Maybe if I pick up something different next time for him, we can do this again. Thank you so much for joining me, and remember, if you ever have an emotional breakdown, just place a guinea pig right here. They are wonderful pets and companions, but make sure you do your research first, if I can recommend anything. Have a great night, and I'll see you next time.